700,000. This is how much people die of suicide each year. Want another one? According to the World Health Organization, 280 million people were affected by depression in 2019. This is to make sure that you understand something. You are not alone. Even though you think you hit rock bottom, there are people who struggle the same thing as you and even worse. And the reason for that is because you are a human. What you feel every day, this pain of being alive, it is a normal human behavior. You're not sick, you're not weird, you are depressed, and yes, it's different. You see, I was also depressed before and I made my way through it, and it may be hard to believe, but I didn't find it complicated nor hard. This is not me trying to tell you how amazing I am by defeating depression without finding it difficult. This is me telling you that your ultimate goal, the only thing that can get you back to live, overcoming depression, will not be a big sophisticated moment of your life, but rather a happy moment of detachment from your old self. So like I said, I overcame depression, and this video is me teaching you everything I know to help you. You are in a hole and I am the hand above that is catching yours and pulling you forward. This video is rather long and took me 40 hours to make without making a single penny. And all of this just so you can trust my words and view me as a person who actually wants to help you, not someone who tries to profit from you. This guide is separated into two major parts. The first one is devoted to making you understand what depression really is and what is happening to your soul. And the second one is dedicated to detaching yourself from this undesirable part of you. It is dedicated to make you feel light again. This part has its own 3 steps. Watch this guide with full attention, you are going to change your life. The first step, and the only one to understand your depression, is to look at the bad habits in your life. If you are depressed, I can guarantee you that you lack sleeping. We could also talk about your diet, which has a big effect on your mental health, but actually, depression isn't something you need to understand. Sometimes in life you need to do something challenging, and it is to let go of your emotions and thoughts without really trying to understand them. I'm going to tell you a story about myself that I find really embarrassing. I, as a content creator who makes videos mostly about mental health, have a great, healthy mind. But for some reason, 5 months ago, I cried. I cried and I decided to go see my mom like a little child after he had a nightmare. It was the most embarrassing thing I have ever done in more than 5 years, but I did not regret it at all. I was asking to her how the hell was I crying like that because I didn't understand a single thing. Why was I crying? And then she taught me a really valuable lesson for when you don't feel great, which is your situation right now. She taught me to just let go of what was going on in my head, which meant to stop trying to understand what was going on with me. I was pissed off because I couldn't understand what was happening with me, but actually the practice that made me stop pretty much instantly was just to say to myself, look, I'm sad for whatever reason, but it's not a big deal. I don't need to know why I'm sad. What's important is healing yourself from them using the habits that I'm going to talk about in the second part of the guide. A few minutes ahead, I was feeling great and became like my normal self again. Maybe it's time for you to stop focusing on your negative emotions and just let them be. If you understand your emotions, well, good for you, but if you don't understand them, just let them be. I hope you took that piece of advice from my story and what I have to tell you. We are already at the last part, which is the longest out of them all and the most important. This is where the magic starts. The advice from earlier was great, but it doesn't stand a chance against what I am going to tell you. Let's begin. The first habit you have to start to do right now if you want to detach yourself from your depression is using the power of Mother Nature. I know it sounds weird, but think about it. When you were a kid, it wasn't weird to play in nature with leaves and branches because this is what healthy kids do. They climb trees, they throw rocks on the water to make it bounce the most amount of time possible. You understand what I'm telling you, right? We all did this when we were younger. But why did we stop? We did because these activities were seen as for kids and we wanted to look more mature, right? This is when we started using cell phones to text each other and to play stupid games. So basically we transitioned from playing in nature to playing on the screen. What do you think is better for your mental health? Of course it is more healthy for humans to be in nature instead of on a screen. I don't think you are learning anything from this. Everybody knows that nature is good for you, but look at what this study found about nature that we didn't know at all, and I quote, "In a study of 20,000 people, a team led by Matthew White of the European Center for Environment and Human Health at the University of Exeter found that people who spend 2 hours a week in green spaces / local parks or other natural environments, either all at once or spaced over several visits, were substantially more likely to report good health and psychological well-being than those who won't." But listen to this. 2 hours was a hard boundary. The study published last June showed there were no benefits for people who didn't meet that threshold. So basically what the study tells us is that 2 hours a week is the perfect amount of time in nature to feel healthy. But if you only go for, let's say, an hour and a half, most of the benefits don't appear. So 2 hours a week is the minimum, which, if you think about it, is less than 20 minutes per day. There are no challenges involved in taking 20 minutes of your day to do whatever you want, but outside. Let me continue with the quote. I could find 60 studies that were good studies. Now it's approaching and about to pass 1,000 studies, and they point in one direction. Nature is not only nice to have, but it's a have to have for physical health and cognitive functioning. These studies have shown that time in nature, as long as people feel safe, is an antidote for stress. It can lower blood pressure and stress hormone levels, reduce nervous system arousal, enhance immune system function, increase self-esteem, reduce anxiety, and improve mood. Attention deficit disorder and aggression lessen in natural environments, which also helps speed the rate of healing. I hope this was enough information to make you go outside more, at least 2 hours a week. I personally go outside for about 30 minutes a day and I don't even think about it. I have tasks to do that involve being outside. It's as easy as it sounds. I recommend going out for 30 minutes at a time because sometimes it's just gonna suck outside. It's going to rain and personally I find rain depressive as hell, so maybe you just don't want to go out for 20 minutes in that depressive environment. I want to go back where I was talking about us growing up and stopping to play like our younger self. Now that we understand the benefits of nature, it is time for us to become childish once again. Find it weird, find it shameful, but just do it and look at the results. Go take a nap in nature and see the results for yourself. The second practice you have to start doing right away if you want to exit depression is to improve your self-image. I started reading a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, and this book is basically the Bible of self-image. And I'm going to use it quite a lot in this section. According to the World Health Organization, 280 million people were affected by depression in 2019. Remember the statistic? Well, I have specifically chosen this one to improve your self-image. There are 280 million people that are pretty much just like you. So next time you say negative stuff about yourself, really think about it. Are you really that bad? 280 million people are just like you. So, are you really that bad? Do you really think you are the worst person in the world? If you really want to get out of the rabbit hole, you have to say more positive stuff to yourself. Look at this study targeting students about low self-esteem and depression. A 2019 study of Vietnamese students looked at the prevalence of low self-esteem and its relation to depression and other mental health problems. The findings support previous research that say people with low self-esteem may be at greater risk for depression. The results showed that low self-esteem may contribute to anxiety, depression, and thoughts of self-harm amongst adolescents. Students who reported low self-esteem had nearly 6 times the odds of being at risk of depression and 4 times the odds of having depressive symptoms when compared to other students. To give you an example, I am on the grind to become a self-improvement YouTuber, as you can see. I work a lot, but I am not perfect. Sometimes I procrastinate and waste my time on my phone. I have always done that. But before reading Psycho-Cybernetics, I would look myself in the mirror and say, you're a loser, you're not disciplined. And it never really led me anywhere and even reduced my mental health, as the study shows us. Now that I understand the principles of the book and the study, when I procrastinate, which happens less by the way because of what I've learned, I use the principles of self-image by saying to myself, I am disciplined, I am a winner, I am better than this. So why am I procrastinating right now? Only changing a phrase improves my mental health and stops me from procrastinating. Now that you've understood this, let's go back to your case. How could the principles of self-image help you to overcome your depression? Well, if the study proved that a low self-esteem is a sign of depression, a high self-esteem is a sign of happiness. To improve it, there are 3 major steps. First, when you think negative about yourself, start a war in your head with your positive and negative mind. In my opinion, the magic phrase is I am greater than this because it makes you aware of your problem whilst putting yourself at a higher level than that. Say everything you want that is positive about you. Become narcissistic as fuck. Many people will say that being self-obsessed is bad. It can be in some social situations, but for your mental health, especially if you are depressed, it is a cheat code, much like the second step, which is to write your strengths. Take a piece of paper and write all of your strengths. It can be precisely anything that you think is a strong part of your personality. I strongly recommend that you do this every single day, first thing in the morning, unlike the third step. This step is in my opinion the most important, and I have been doing it every day before going to sleep. This step is gratitude journaling. Gratitude journaling is writing a phrase for people you feel grateful for, and especially especially yourself. Why it should be done at night is because you can document the happy moments of your day in the journal, and you wouldn't believe how stress relieving and pleasant this is. A few months ago, I finished a whole book of gratitude journaling. I started it on January 17, 2023, and by the time I'm recording this video, it is October 5th, 2024. Because I wrote all the positive things from every day, I now have a book of my younger self who kind of documented his journey by accident. And now I'm reading it and I feel like I've wrote an actual book. It's around 400 pages, all full of positive stuff from my younger self. So start a journal right away and improve your self-image and mental health. I think you are starting to understand how much of a positive impact self-image could have on you. This practice is basically the thing that is keeping me from procrastinating and wasting time. And I promise you that it also is the thing that is going to destroy your depression. If you remember in the intro, I said that I didn't find it difficult to get out of depression. And my self-image wasn't good at that time. So it would have been even easier if someone would have told me to have a better self-image like I am telling you right now. So make that come back. The third and last step to overcome depression, and the most important of them all, is meditation. When you heard me say meditation, what did you think about? Personally, before starting the practice, I thought it was for like weird, smelly, spiritual guys. You know what I'm talking about, like the hippies who smoke plants and shit. And I'm pretty sure that's what you're thinking right now of meditation. If not, well, good for you, but chances are I'm right about this and I don't blame you at all. But this belief is so wrong, and I'm here to make you understand what meditation really is and how to use it to your benefits. Who's this person? That's Lady Gaga, right? Well, she meditates. And who's this man? That's Kobe Bryant. Well, he meditated. 50 Cent? How can a rapper who talks like a badass gangster sit on a couch with eyes closed and start breathing? And there are way more celebrities. Steve Jobs, Jim Carrey, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Madonna, Emma Watson, and the list goes on. When all of these people were asked about why they were meditating, all of their answers were the same. Mindfulness was the biggest benefit. But what is mindfulness? Well, this is the word-for-word description from helpguides.org that I found was perfect. Mindfulness is the practice of focusing your attention on the present moment and accepting it without judgment. It can prevent you from getting caught up in worries about the future or regrets about the past. And even this professional organization says that the best way to have mindfulness is to meditate, exactly like these other celebrities before. In a science-based website called The Greater Good magazine, I found a quote that is really interesting about mindfulness. Check this out. In his new book, When Antidepressants Aren't Enough, Harnessing the Power of Mindfulness to Alleviate Depression, Stuart Inzendraft, former director of the UCSF Depression Center, explores how many people can use mindfulness to develop a healthier relationship with their depression. The goal, he writes, is not to get rid of depression completely, as it may be unlikely for many people, but to accept it and detach from it enough to live a happier, healthier life. This is pretty much what I've said in the start of the video. Now an author of a book about depression is saying the same, and he's also mentioning to accept it and detach from it enough to be happier. But how do you do that? Detaching yourself from your depression means nothing, it's a metaphor. To translate it, I'd say that it means forgetting about depression. But once again, how do you do that? Well, it is by meditation. You don't have to think about it and do weird stuff, it's the opposite actually. That's why I said detaching yourself from depression means forgetting it. You only need to meditate for a few minutes a day and you will detach yourself from your depression. And if you meditate outside, it will increase the benefits because you are doing all the healthy habits at once. You are in nature while meditating, which will probably make you feel good about yourself. I'm not gonna explain how to meditate, the position that you need, because there are plenty of guides in the internet that you can just search for. I'll put the link of my favorite one in the description. So start meditating, you won't regret it. I think I have said more than enough in this video to get you out of your hole of depression. Your destiny is sitting on your shoulders. It's time for you to overcome your demons, this evil presence in your mind. All of this information and knowledge was given to you for free and took me so much time. I would really appreciate it if you just leave a like to the video. If you found this video valuable, I really suggest that you subscribe because the others are just gonna get better every time. If you have any questions regarding your personal situation, I will be more than happy to help you in the comment section. I am proud of you for watching this video. This is some great progress that you just did. You should be proud of you too. And remember, you are better than this.